everyone. This is Julia, the founder and director of Rosie's Review. Today we're going to be chatting a little bit about negotiating salary. I get a ton of questions about this, especially when I'm leading workshops on salary negotiation, of course. And so we're just going to dive in. First and foremost, why is negotiating salary important? Okay, well, if you're new to the pay gap, let's just talk a little bit about why it's important to make sure that women are getting paid. So right now in the US, there is a pay gap. It is about 82 cents on every dollar. So if you are a woman, on average, you will make 82 cents for every dollar earned by a white male. And this may not sound like too much. You're thinking just 18 cents, okay. Well, if you look at that from your entire career or for the whole year, it really starts to add up. So in the US, the collective loss of earnings for all women working this year alone is over $500 billion, billion with a B. It's huge. And I also just want to go another level deeper and say that the experience is not the same for all women. So if you are a marginalized, if you are a Black woman, for example, Black women earn 63 cents on every dollar that white men earn. Latino women earn 55 cents for every dollar white men earn. Mothers earn 71 cents for every dollar that fathers earn. So really there's disparity, and we see it for women with disabilities, for women who identify with other marginalized groups. And so this is a really serious concern, and this is why it's so important for us to negotiate to try to work to close that pay gap. There are other ways to work on closing this, but this is just one of them that we can all take ownership of. And so we're going to chat about that a little bit today. Okay, so in terms of negotiating, again, there's a bit of a gap between men and women. So about 68% of women will just accept the salary that they have been offered. And so they're not negotiating. That's a 16-point difference than the number of men who are negotiating. We also know that disparity gets wider with age, so older women negotiate less. For MBAs, so I have my MBA, I'm a graduate holder, and so women, female MBAs, only 7% of us negotiate. That is huge compared to 57% of male MBAs who are negotiating. So a really big difference there at the MBA and graduate level. We also know that when we do negotiate, men are 3 times more successful than us at negotiating greater pay. And so we really just want to click down on that and understand where that gap is coming from and how we can address it. So today I'm going to introduce you to my 5 steps that I encourage women and really anyone to take when they are negotiating a salary or negotiating a raise. And so the first one is to prepare. This means that you're really cataloging all of your accomplishments, your contributions. If you got an award at work or were recognized for outstanding achievement, make sure that you're writing this type of information down so that you have it at your year-end review. Additionally, make sure that you are seeking out sponsors and mentors. It's really important. Women with mentors and sponsors are 5 times more likely to get promoted. Mentors and sponsors also play an important role when negotiating or getting a salary increase, because they're really vouching for you at the higher levels of the company. So definitely seek those out. Once you are, prepared, you then want to start investigating. That means that you really determine what your worth is on the market. And there's a couple different ways to do that. The first is to just Google and research. There's great sites like Glassdoor that do give a bit of insight. I don't think that they're totally accurate, but they can give you a ballpark of where to start. From there, you're going to want to network with your peers. I know this is a bit uncomfortable and taboo to chat about your salary, but it's really important that we do so to realize, is someone at the same level as me getting paid about the same amount? And the last thing I just want to iterate here is that you can ask the HR representative for the pay band for your role. So that shows really where you fit along that pay band for everyone else at the company within your role. So if you know if you're on the low end, you have some room to go up. And this is information that legally you can ask and they need to give to you. So definitely ask for that pay band to know where you're stacking. Okay, the third step is then to set objectives. And this is going to look differently for everyone. The 3 numbers that I recommend everyone should have is their walkaway, their ideal, and their reach number. So the walkaway is the bare minimum. That's saying, girl, I can't pay my rent. I can't put groceries on the table if I get anything less than this, and it just does not make sense for me, and I'm not going to accept it. Your ideal is really a place that you're aiming for and that you feel like you could live a very comfortable lifestyle on. So you'd be motivated at this level. You can have all the little perks that you want, like you can afford a nice gym membership or, whatever it may be. And so this is a really good number for you for where you're at in your lifestyle. And then up at the top, that's your reach number. This is like, okay, I just don't want to only be comfortable. I want that trip to Aruba. I want that nice car. This is kind of your ideal dream lifestyle, if you will. And the one thing that I will say is that women tend to soften this reach number. And I can talk about it from my own personal experience. I did this at a workshop with a large group of women, and pretty much all of us were like very modest at first. Like, I don't really need that much. I'm totally fine with this smaller number. I can make that work. No, your reach number is like, girl, treat yourself. This is your chance to set a really big dream and goal for yourself that can really empower you, for home ownership, for these other things in your life that you really want. So don't feel like you need to dull that dream or goal down. Feel free to go as, pie to the sky as you want. These numbers can change over your life as well. If your family grows or other things happen, you can recalibrate as you go on. These aren't like set in stone too. Okay, so once you have those 3 salary numbers set, you also want to set objectives related to non-financial things. So there's a lot of perks and benefits and other things that may be really important to you. For me, I know healthcare is extremely important. For some of my friends out there who are moms, I know for them, they really wanted maternity, really good paid maternity leave. They wanted childcare benefits. All these other things were really important to them when thinking about the package that they wanted. And for you, it may be something else. Maybe you want the flexibility to work from home or work 4 days a week with longer hours. These are all different things that you can incorporate into your whole package that may not necessarily even be money-based, but are really important to you. So make sure that you think those out. And then from there, you're going to want to prioritize that list. So if you're planning to start a family, maybe maternity leave's at the top and salary is, not the most important thing. That's totally fine. It's your list to feel empowered to prioritize as you want. Okay, so once we have set our objectives, now we're really ready to start to go into the negotiation phase, right? And at that point, that's when step 4 becomes really important. Step 4 is all about avoiding the pitfalls. So there are some pitfalls in negotiation, and there are some that are specifically that I want to talk about for women. So first and foremost, negotiate in person. This is a crazy time right now. We're in the middle of a pandemic. So I know negotiating in person may not be happening for many of us out there, but there are other ways to adjust to that. So do it over Zoom, do it over FaceTime, Google Hangouts, whatever you want. But it's really important that you and the individual that you're negotiating with can see each other's facial expressions and hear the intonation of your voices. I know we've all gotten those emails where we're like, this person's being so passive aggressive, and it turns out it was just the way that we were reading the text. So make sure that it's as in person as you can. From there, and this is a little bit more specific to women, I have heard a lot about, these hardball techniques, like you come in with another offer from a rival company and you slam it on the desk and you're like, match this or I leave. These tend to backfire more often than not for women, specifically women. And it doesn't matter if you're negotiating with a male or another female. This type of tactic really tends to end poorly for the female negotiating. So I would definitely avoid those really hardball maneuvers or techniques. And also for women, we know that women who are negotiating have better outcomes if they have what's called a communal concern. And so you want to think about that, like switching all your I's to we's and really emphasizing on what you can do for the company or for the team versus selling your competencies. So instead of saying like, I want this raise because I did a great job this year, you want to emphasize more the team and the we. So I really think we can achieve all of our goals this year if I have these certain things, then we can be better contributors together. We can achieve the goals collectively. This type of collective communal focus tends to work out very well for women in these type of negotiation scenarios. So a few more specific tips for women when they are negotiating. And then lastly, step number 5, this is for when you're actually in the middle of the negotiation, and that is to be confident. I say this all the time to the women that I work at. Be yourself, be confident. Do not be afraid to ask for the time to weigh the options, to say, can I think about this for a night and get back to you? That's totally okay. Have the confidence to do that. Have the confidence to walk away if they're below your walkaway number. And just really feel comfortable and confident to be able to come back to that table to ask for other things if it doesn't work out the first time around. I know it's scary to negotiate. The few times I've had to do it, I'm like, oh my gosh. But we can do it, and we need to have the confidence and the feeling of being empowered enough to do so. It's really important, not just for our own careers, but for that collective pay gap that we're facing as women in the US right now. So these were sort of my 5 steps through negotiating effectively. I hope it was helpful. If any of you have different tips or tricks, I'd love to hear. Leave them below in the comments, or if you have any questions, feel free to comment as well. And thank you for tuning in for Rosie's review. This was such a great chat with you all, and we'll see you soon. Bye.